Last week, you met the part of you that's afraid. This week, we get practical. In the next episode, I'll talk about goals. But first, let's explore the thing that most often stands between you and any goal: habits. And even if you don't know what your goals are yet, you definitely know which habits you'd like to change, build, or improve. Hold one in your mind right now. We'll work with it today. So, what is a habit, really? A habit is a behavior you've repeated so many times that your brain runs it automatically, with little or no conscious thought. Research from Duke University estimates that around 40% of what you do every day isn't decided at all. It's habit. Brushing your teeth, the route you drive, reaching for your phone the second you feel bored. Here's what's happening inside. Every habit runs on a simple loop. A cue, you feel stressed. A routine, you open the fridge. And a reward, brief comfort. Repeat that loop enough times and your brain does something clever. It hands the whole sequence from the conscious, effortful part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, to a deeper, older structure called the basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot. From that moment, the behavior no longer needs your attention or your permission. Remember the forest from episode 1? A habit is simply a trail that's been walked so many times it became a paved road. Your feet follow it before you've noticed you're walking. That's not a design flaw. It's brilliant engineering. Automation frees your conscious mind for new problems. The catch is that the brain automates whatever you repeat. It doesn't ask whether the habit serves you. It only asks, have we done this before? In theory, changing sounds easy. You just stop doing what you're doing and start doing what you actually want to do. And by doing, I mean everything, not just external behavior. Your inner dialogue is a habit too. The way you talk to yourself after a mistake, the catastrophe you rehearse before anything has happened, the automatic "I can't." Those are loops as worn in as any morning cigarette. They just run where nobody sees them. But in practice, you already know, it's not that easy. And here's why. Building a new habit means using the prefrontal cortex. Conscious, deliberate, expensive. Your brain is an economy machine. It always prefers the cheap option. And guess what costs the least? The old habits, including the ones ruining your health, your potential, or keeping you stuck. To your brain, cheap and good feel like the same thing. So when you start changing, expect resistance. And expect it in disguise. Thoughts persuading you the old way was better. Why you should go back. Why you'll never achieve this anyway. Who are you to even want these things when there are people so much better than you? Do you recognize that voice? That's not the truth speaking. That's a protector from last week's episode. A sub-personality doing its job, pulling you back to the familiar because familiar means safe. And the resistance isn't only mental. Psychologists know a phenomenon called the extinction burst. When you stop feeding an old habit, it doesn't fade quietly. It flares up first. The cravings get louder. The urge peaks right before it breaks. Breaking routines also genuinely stresses the body. Restlessness, irritability, tension, poor sleep. Even life seems to join in. Obstacles appear, schedules collapse, the gym closes for renovation. Many people read all this as a sign. I'm going the wrong way. This isn't for me. It's the opposite. The storm before the calm is how leaving a habit works. So if you feel it in your heart, if something tells you this is the right path, stay in that discomfort. Face it, and hammer that damn wall down. It's the only thing standing between you and the real you. Here's the good news, and it's built into the same machinery. The more you repeat the habit you want to create, the less effort it requires. Every repetition strengthens the new neural pathway, until one day it becomes the preferred route, the cost-effective one. The brain's autopilot switches sides and starts working for you. And the old habit? Remember, use it or lose it. The trail you stop walking slowly grows over. It may never disappear completely. Old paths can reopen under stress, which is why relapses happen and why they're not failure, just an old road briefly reused. But the less you walk it, the fainter it gets. Effort at the start, ease at the end. That's not a motivational slogan. That's the physics of your brain. Now the deepest part, and the real reason habits come before goals in this series. Habits aren't only the method for reaching external results, the career move, the healthier body, the savings account, the language you finally learn. They're also the path to internal change. Because every time you perform a habit, you're not just doing a thing. You're casting a quiet vote for a version of yourself. Go for the run, and some part of you registers. We're someone who shows up. Journal for 5 minutes. We're someone who reflects. Skip both. A vote for the old identity. No single vote decides the election. But the votes pile up, and one day you notice you're not trying to be that person anymore. You simply are. Decision first, action follows, and repeated action becomes identity. That's the goal. Not a habit tracker full of check marks. Becoming the person. If you can change your habits, you can change your life. And now, as always, let's not leave this as theory. Here's the tool. This one is my personal favorite because it's the one that actually works on me. Let me show you with my own struggle. Going to sleep too late. I can set a reminder for 11 p.m. But when the evening comes, guess what I do? I just switch the reminder off. One tap. The old road wins again. So here's the trick that works for me. At the end of the day, I close my eyes, and I rehearse tomorrow evening in my mind. In detail. I imagine checking my watch and seeing 10:30 p.m. I imagine closing the tabs on my PC one by one, switching it off, picking up my phone and turning the Wi-Fi off, so social media can't quietly pull me back in. The more details, the better. The weight of the phone, the click of the button, the feeling of deciding. That's the whole practice. Now let's do it together with your habit. The one you picked at the start of this video. Tonight, right before sleep, or whenever it feels right, close your eyes. Take a few slow breaths. Now bring up the moment of choice. Not the whole day, just the exact scene where the old habit usually wins. The couch after dinner, the phone on the nightstand, the fridge at 9 p.m. See the room. Hear the sounds. Make it real. And now watch yourself do the new thing instead. Slowly, step by step, in as many details as you can. What do your hands do first? What do you see? What do you say to yourself? If the old urge appears in the scene, good. Let it appear. And watch yourself notice it. And still choose the new path. That moment is the most important frame of the whole movie. Finish the scene completely, all the way to the end. Then notice for a few seconds how it feels to be the person who just did that. That's it. 2 or 3 minutes every evening. Why does this work? It sounds almost too simple. 3 reasons. And they're all real neuroscience, not magic. First, your brain rehearses like it performs. When you vividly imagine an action, your brain activates much of the same circuitry as when you actually do it. This is why athletes have used mental rehearsal for decades. And in one famous study, people who only imagined practicing a piano exercise showed changes in the motor cortex similar to those who physically practiced. Every rehearsal is a walk down the new trail. You're building the pathway before the moment of truth. So when tomorrow evening comes, the route already exists. Second, you're pre-making the decision. The old habit wins in the moment because in the moment you're tired, and the brain grabs the cheap option. Psychologists call the fix an implementation intention, deciding in advance, when X happens, I do Y. Research shows this alone can dramatically increase follow-through. Your rehearsal is an implementation intention in high definition. When the choice moment arrives, you're not deciding anymore. You're remembering. Third, you're rehearsing the process, not the outcome. And that distinction matters. Studies show that visualizing the result, the fit body, the finished book, can actually reduce motivation. The brain gets a taste of the reward without the work. Visualizing the steps is what improves real behavior. That's why we imagine closing the tabs, not waking up refreshed. And doing it before sleep? A quiet bonus. Sleep is when your brain consolidates what it practiced that day. You're handing it the new trail as the last thing to file away. One honest note. Rehearsal doesn't replace doing. It lowers the wall. You still have to walk through. But tomorrow, when the moment comes, you may notice something strange. Your hands already know the choreography. So this week, pick one habit you want to build. Then shrink it until it's almost embarrassing. Not meditate daily, but sit down and take 3 breaths. Not go to the gym, but put on the shoes. A habit too small to fail is a trail that gets walked every day, and walking it is what widens it. You can grow it later. First, teach your brain the route. Attach it to a cue that already exists. After I pour my morning coffee, I take 3 breaths. The brain builds new loops fastest on top of old ones, and every evening let's rehearse it. 2 minutes, eyes closed, full detail. Walk the new trail in your mind tonight so it's already there tomorrow. And tell me in the comments, what's the one habit and what's your embarrassingly small version of it? I'll be reading everything. Next Monday. Goals. Why most of them fail before you even start, and how to set ones that actually pull you forward. If you're becoming the person 2027 you thanks, subscribe. See you next week.